What up, all my low carbers and fellow ketonians out there? This is your boy Los with Fire Fitness, and I just wanted to bring you the Keto Tip Tuesday of the week. And the one thing I wanted to talk about was seasonings. There are some ingredients used within seasonings that can negatively impact your state of ketosis or basically trigger your insulin. And so I just wanted to give you guys a little heads up for those who are kind of starting their journey, for those who are maybe having a little bit of a struggle along their journey. Just wanted to point out some things you may want to keep in mind as you're going down your journey into nutritional ketosis. And so a handful of ingredients that I wanted to tell you about that you will find within seasonings or things like maltodextrin, dextrose, starches such as modified starch, potato starch, and you'll even find in seasons they just flat out put sugar or cane sugar in there. So just some of those things you want to be watchful of, because if you have an insulin sensitivity such as myself, or honestly you could be worse than me, it's those little things like that that can get in the way that can prevent you from getting into ketosis. So wanted to show you some brief examples of some things that I found that I was surprised to see that had some of these insulin spiking agents in them. First up, seasoning salt. I was surprised to see that seasoning salt would have sugar in them, but in both cases, the Lowry's and the Johnny's, which honestly I love them both. I know I switch off between the two, but the second ingredient in these is sugar. And so I know that a lot of you have been kind of trained, or you kind of already understand to read the nutrition facts to kind of see about the carbs and things like that. But if you look on the back of these in particular, and you may not be able to see it with the camera, but they'll tell you they have 0 grams of carbs in them. But if you look at the label, the ingredient label, the second ingredient is sugar. So you do the math. And let's be honest, if you're anybody like me, you got that fat ass tendency in you like I do, and you love to make sure, you may not have the biggest variety, but you definitely want a little bit of taste in your food. You're not using 1/4 teaspoon on a piece of chicken or some steak or however you season your meat, let's be honest. And then too, you know that if you are getting into this lifestyle, salt is a big factor. So you're going to be more likely to use a little bit more than what you may have already been using. Another thing is this chicken and poultry rub that I that I have that I no longer use because the second ingredient on here is modified cornstarch. Didn't know you needed cornstarch in this seasoning, but once again, when I'm already at 20 to 30 grams of carbs per day, and I like to eat things, I like to have my intra-workout drink, which has some carbs in it. I like to eat my veggies, which definitely have carbs in it. So with 20 to 30 grams of carbs, I don't have a whole lot of flexibility to eat stuff seasoned with insulin spiking agents. So have to watch out for things like that. And this is a surprise that was in there. I was really sad about this one because my fat ass loves ranch. Who doesn't love ranch? And if you don't have to say nothing. We don't care about that. But I was surprised to find within this that the first ingredient is maltodextrin. So once again, when watching out for those carbs, I have to be cognizant of things like this that has maltodextrin in it as the first ingredient. So, and with this one, it does say that if you use, looks like the entire packet, you will get about 1 gram of carbs. But once again, another thing that really surprised me was taco seasonings. I have one that's a McCormick brand, and I have one that's a Trader Joe's brand. I noticed that the McCormick one had potato starch in it and sugar. So I was like, oh, well, I'll get the Trader Joe's brand because Trader Joe's brand definitely wouldn't have that in there. And not to say anything bad about it or knock it, but even when I look at the Trader Joe's brand, they also have cane sugar on their package too. Now, I'll be honest, these are one of those things that I love too much to give up. So what I will do is I will have those sparingly. Or another thing I'll do is I'll take my sour cream and I'll put the seasoning in the sour cream so I still get the flavor, but I don't get as much of the seasoning in there. So another little tip that I do to help me to make sure I stay in ketosis. And the biggest one that I was shocked to see was pepperonis. pepperonis themselves. I have been hard to find a brand that does not have some form of dextrose or sugar in them. And so this is another one of those things. Now, honestly, anybody who knows me knows I love keto pizza, and I love my keto pizza with pepperoni. So these are one of those things as well where I just have to watch out on the portion control with it and make sure I'm not overdoing it. So just wanted to give you guys a little tip, little pointers to look out for as you are trying to get into nutritional ketosis, or as you're trying to sustain your ketosis. As always, everybody, please comment, share, like, give me feedback, so that way I know what more videos I can bring out for you. But hey, look, I guess I'll see you guys next week. Until then.